Hello, everybody again. I'm very happy to be here today with you and to speak about the topic, my passion, social entrepreneurship and green growth, which are interconnected topics. Let me share the screen and I'll start the presentation. What are we going to do today and who am I? A brief introduction of my background. My work experience is connected to education and trainings, non-profit and community building, social innovation and startups, which also includes the social enterprises, of course. I have co-founded several NGOs, non-profit organizations in Georgia, Italy, and Indonesia, and social enterprises like both together. And my academic background combines academic and business and non-profit management, which leads me directly to the social entrepreneurship. Today, what we want to communicate with you, all the attendees, is to understand the concept of the social and green entrepreneurship from zero and slowly go deeper in the topic. So on the way, please feel free to stop me and ask the questions if some terms are unknown or if I need to explain something more. We are not a lot on this webinar, so let's make it more interactive and adjust it to your interests. Another part of the webinar will be dedicated to the guest speakers, as Monica already mentioned. The idea is from problem to enterprise. So we have the successful social entrepreneurs and green entrepreneurs from 3 countries, Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan. We had to have also Moldova, but because of the health problems, unfortunately, she could not join us today. So also they will have 15 minutes per social entrepreneur to demonstrate their story, path they went through, and also the context of the social entrepreneurship in their country. So we have kind of introduction to the context from the first hand. So from the beginning, like as we have different levels of knowledge regarding the entrepreneurship among the attendees of our webinar, I decided to start it from the zero and then evolve the topic. So zero in this case is entrepreneurship, concept of entrepreneurship. So there are lots of different definitions of this term, but I chose the basic one, the simple one, the art or science of innovation and risk-taking for the profit. There are lots of different kind of enterprises, different by the size or the mission, starting from the small business enterprises, large companies, scalable startups, social enterprises, green enterprises, agro enterprises, so on and so forth. And today we will focus on the social and green enterprises. For the beginning, let's be clear about the definition and in general regulation of the field. There is no one entity like united entity which regulates the term or the field in general. Every country has own path to go, let's say. Every country has their own legislation or does not, and has evolved own practices. Today we will use the definition and criteria by European Commission. And the definition by EU is that social entrepreneurship enterprise is an operator in social economy whose main objective is to have a social impact rather than make a profit for owners. It operates by providing goods or services for the market in an entrepreneurial and innovative fashion and uses its profit primarily to achieve social or environmental objectives. So, social enterprise is a, let's say, normal enterprise. It is definitely profit-oriented, but at the same time, it must have social or environmental mission, which is the reason of creating this organization. Green entrepreneurship, we can consider it as a subset of an entrepreneurship that aims at creating and implementing solutions to environmental problems. And to be clear also, the company that has a single activity of environmental mission or environmental goals, it's not considered as a definitely green entrepreneurship. Green enterprise is the enterprise who prioritize sustainability and conservation in their business model, in their continuous activity, not only as a single activity for marketing or whatever reasons. To look at its more global view, we have 3 different sectors in each country, right? We have the public sector, which is all the governmental funded, governmental operated institutions, such as military, ministries, local municipalities, so on and so forth. Then the second biggest sector comes the private sector or business sector. We have different terms for this, right? Which contains all the enterprises, corporations, all the profit-oriented companies. And the third, civil society, where we come, usually like all the NGOs that are attending today. And the role of civil society and this sector, third sector, so-called third sector, is to fill the gaps that public sector and the private sector can solve. So we see these 3 green ticks in the overlapping spaces. Those are the spaces where the social and green entrepreneurs come in. So as it's shown, private social enterprises must have a component of the business. So as you see, it is overlapping private sector and public sector, private and civil society, or all of 3 together, depending on the policy of the country, depending on the legislation of the country. On the horizontal line, if we compare these 2 sectors, we have on the left side, we have the traditional charity, traditional non-profit organization, and the radical right side, we have traditional businesses, corporations, profit-oriented organizations, yeah? And exactly right in the middle, we have the social and green enterprises. This is the fun illustration where we stand exactly between the capitalism and the charity. Steve Jobs and Mother Teresa, I guess everybody recognized them. According to European Commission definition as well, social and green enterprises have 3 main dimensions. First of all, and then we will go to the criteria according to these dimensions. First of all, it is entrepreneurial dimension, the basic, like for-profit dimension, which means that enterprises should have continuous economic activity. We have the social dimension or environmental, meaning that they should have social or environmental mission, and the governance dimension, management dimension. And now in this following slide, we will speak about the specific criteria that represent those dimensions. So again, according to the European Union criteria, I'll be speaking because, as I already mentioned before, every country has developed own criteria, but this is like the basic. Every social enterprise must be engaged in continuous economic activity, which means that a social enterprise must continuously produce any product or service that is in their business model. It should not be just a side activity to have single profits like once in a month or once in a year, but it should be the continuous production. Second most important and basic is to have social or environmental mission. Meaning, like, what is the reason? Why did we create this enterprise? What is the problem that we want to solve in our society or in our environment? The third comes the distribution of profits, which makes it different from the normal enterprises. And also here, depending on the legislation of the country, we have different percentage of the distribution of profits among the co-founders of the social enterprise. In the countries which have those kind of regulations, according to the law, there is defined, for example, 30 or 50 or more % of the profit is allowed to be divided among the co-founders. But in the countries like Georgia, for example, and most of the Eastern Partnership countries, unfortunately, we still don't have the this legislation. So there is no law that regulates all this. So it's all up to the goodwill of the co-founders to decide how many % they want to reinvest in the social or environmental mission and how many % they want to divide between the co-founders. Let's continue. And last two criteria are related to the governance and management principles. And social enterprises must be independent and they have to have the voice and exit, which means that they shouldn't be affiliated to any political party or any other institution. They should be independent in their decision-making process. They have to have their voice and they have to have rights to quit their operation and exit the market whenever they need to do this. And the inclusive management principles, participative and democratic decision-making process. Again, they should be independent in the decision-making process, but at the same time, they should be involving different stakeholders in their decision-making process, like their employees, the beneficiaries, partners, so on and so forth. So mostly it is like very horizontal management style. Let's look at the background of the social entrepreneurship, when it started, how did it start? It's not, during all our history of economics, it's not something very new. We have done this in our history. Just as the term social entrepreneurship, it was not developed. So first, as the term was mentioned in the book Social Responsibility of the Businessman in 1953, sorry. Then in 70s, the concept became more and more popular because of the Muhammad Yunus, Bill Drayton, and different influencing economists of those era. Grameen Bank was created in Bangladesh those times, and it was replicated all around the world. Ashoka started their activity, so the concept became more worldwide. And in 90s, European model of social entrepreneurship started to develop. And in 2000, it became more and more popular among society and academic research. And since 2010 already, we have lots of small social enterprises all around the world. And until this year, there was no some specific number of social enterprises that we have in the world. But this summer in June, British Council on Social Enterprise UK made the research, and they counted 11 million social enterprises around the world, which is quite big and impressive number. Of course, it was very difficult to collect this data, as the registration as a social enterprise is not possible in most of the countries. So it is very approximate number, let's say. The age of the social enterprises, according to the same research, average age is 25-44. The most of the social entrepreneurs are between in this age group, but of course there are other age groups as well. The fields, we're in all the fields of the economy, starting with the banks and social finance, mobility, recycling, environment, education, health, so on and so forth. And here we have already another research. This is 2019 statistics. Most of the social enterprises, 24% of them, are dedicated to poverty alleviation. Then comes education, environment, food and agriculture, healthcare, civil and human rights, civic engagement, art, culture, and then other topics. Let's speak about the legal and political recognition now, which is a very hot topic and painful topic for most of the countries. First, it was Italy and France who started the legal recognition of the social entrepreneurship in their law, state law, in 91. Then it was followed by UK, who created the social entrepreneurship strategy in 2002. And then European Union continued our active work with the member countries to develop this kind of policy strategies or legislation. And by today, we have 16 EU member countries who adopted the specific legislation for social entrepreneurship, and 11 of them created the formal strategies or policies. Here we have the illustration from the 2005 You see the green colors, those are the countries who had the legal status of social entrepreneurship, and the others are on the way. And then we have the 2020 statistics. Yellow colors are the countries that have the specific legislation about social entrepreneurship. So as we mentioned, most of the countries around the world, not European Union regulates it more like inside the Union. But outside of the European Union, it's becoming more and more difficult to regulate the field. So in most of the countries, there is no regulation, and the social entrepreneurs have to find the ways how to register their enterprises. So here is the mostly used registration form, which is nonprofits. 40% of the social enterprises are registered as nonprofit organizations around the world. Then comes, they are registered as a for-profit organizations. Then comes the hybrid, and then are the undecided and others. In the common practice that I have witnessed, mostly it is also registration as a nonprofit organization and becoming the business operator afterwards. This is also the way I used in my social enterprise. To speak about the challenges now. One of the biggest challenge, according to the researchers, it is the poor understanding of the social enterprise concepts among the societies. So as the public doesn't understand the concept, doesn't know what's the social entrepreneurship means, they can't prioritize the purchase process. Yeah. So if they have the same price offer of the same product, usually if they know, they go for the social enterprise because they are doing also good, not only buying the product. But the problem is that they don't have the understanding. It's not a popular concept in most of the countries. Then comes the lack of business development services like accelerators, incubators, hackathons, ideations, and so on. So the services that help the entrepreneurs to form their ideas, to have the mentors, to develop the business model in a way to have the profitable enterprise at the end. For the startups, mostly this is more accessible, but for the traditional social enterprises with not that innovative business model, maybe this is more hard to find this kind of programs, and especially European Union has lots of opportunities for this kind of for the entrepreneurs who want to have this kind of services. Then comes lack of supportive legislative framework, the topic I just spoke about, all this governmental regulation and policies and strategies for the social enterprises. As there is no legislation in the most of the countries, it's becoming more confusing for the entrepreneurs to find the path, and to it creates lots of barriers for them. Also, in some countries, there is the policy by the government that social enterprises have the tax advantage, which is also very discutable topic, let's say. But in those countries, social enterprises are more supported comparing to the others. Then comes access to finance or funding. Of course, there are different kind of funding opportunities for social enterprises, but most of the time it's very small and it's not enough for the big ideas. And for the investors that are usually investing in the startups, investing in the social enterprise, it's not that attractive, let's say, because the profits, because the social enterprises are not oriented only on the profit, but they are oriented on the social or environmental impact. And the last challenge is the absence of common mechanisms for measuring and demonstrating impact. This is a very big problem for the social enterprises. Most of the social enterprises don't measure their impact. They don't have the tools how to measure it. And then because we don't have the statistics, we don't have the results to demonstrate it to the public, to the government, which would bring more support. It doesn't happen. So this is identified as one of the biggest challenges in the researches inside the European Union. But let's speak now about why. Why should we support, and why should the social entrepreneurship become more supported and more stimulated field? First of all, it brings sustainability to the nonprofit organizations, and it's kind of transforms the total sector, the field. Until social entrepreneurship became the popular topic, most of the NGOs were dependent on the funding, right? External funding. So the priorities which were defined by the different international organizations or local foundations or governmental foundations. So the priorities were defined by other institutions, and then the group in the NGOs, they were trying to adjust to those priorities and create the projects, write the projects and implement the projects that others want, that is prioritized by European Union, for example. And these priorities are changing year by year, and then the NGOs are changing their fields of expertise as well, which doesn't allow the organizations to become professional, to become experts in certain fields, and they are moving from topic to topic. If they have the permanent income, permanent profit that they can reinvest in social mission, they have more stability. They have expertise in the field. So it gives this financial stability, opportunity for the financial stability to the people who want to make certain social or environmental changes. Then it creates the innovative approaches to achieve different social or environmental objectives. And these approaches or the models can be replicated by different corporations, businesses, governments. So they are experimenting and finding different models, different approaches, and then we can use it worldwide. Job creation is one of the biggest benefits that social entrepreneurship brings. For example, 6.3% of jobs in European Union by 2017 were created by the social enterprises. It contributes to the country economy. Here is an example from the same year that social enterprises contributed by 60 billion pounds to the GDP of the UK. Then many social enterprises prioritize the hiring marginalized groups or the people with a fewer opportunities who otherwise might have the difficulty to find the job. This is one of the biggest advantages, especially in the countries where the government doesn't support these kind of groups. Developing countries in European Union, maybe this is less benefit because also the governments have different services, but in the countries like us, like Georgia and other Eastern Europe partnership countries, I think this is one of the biggest benefits. And the last is the new discovery, resilience, special resilience of the social entrepreneurs. During the COVID crisis, only 1% of the social enterprises died, let's say, closed down in UK, and 44% of them increased the turnover. Similar thing happened in the 2008 financial crisis, when the employment in the social enterprises grew by 20% in Belgium and 12% in Italy. Of course, these statistics will be a bit different in non-EU countries where the legislation and the government doesn't support the businesses or the social enterprises, but still, and there is no research in these countries to demonstrate the numbers, but still the resilience turned out to be one of the strong aspects of the social enterprises. And at the end, I would like to finish with the little statement of François Bonici, who is the head of social innovation in World Economic Forum. And on this forum, he said that social enterprises are one of the largest movements of our time, driven by millions of people developing the kinds of companies we need in the 21st century. And I totally agree to this statement, and I believe that's in nearest future, hopefully most of the enterprises will become social or environmental, or at least environmentally responsible enterprises. And I believe that we're almost there, where when the customer will not buy the product or service from the company who is not responsible socially or environmentally. So let's hope that we will go to that direction. With the economic developments, we have more chances to do that. Thank you. And now we move to the second part of this webinar, where we have already the practical success stories and the practical examples of the social enterprises from 3 different countries: Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan. And the first one will be Anush from Armenia. Thank you very much, Anush, for joining. And I'll stop sharing my screen, and please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, dear Natali. And I noticed that Georgia and Armenia, during about this various social enterprise, we have a lot of the same things.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
My name is Anush. I'm a president of NGO called Equal Rights, Equal Opportunities, NGO for people with disabilities. And also I'm a director of EREO or EREOstyle, a social enterprise. I'm a person with disability. I have a mobility problem. I can walk by using cane. So I'm so happy. Today we are going to talk about our social enterprise, and also about Armenia, how we have legislation or no, we have a social association, social enterprise associations or no, etc., etc. Just now, please give me permission to share. Okay, great. We have already permission.
And sorry, Anush, I want to also remind to our attendees to send us the questions regarding the general concept or regarding the presentations that the guest speaker will present. So at the end of their presentations, I'll read the questions and we can answer to them. Thank you.
Okay, great. And when the time is finished, please remind me. Thank you. So EREOstyle or EREOstyle Souvenirs social enterprise. EREO, it came from our NGO names, Equal Rights, Equal Opportunities. Why EREO? Because it's short and people, our community knows us as a EREO people, then Equal Rights, Equal Opportunities. So where we are located, this is Armenian map. We in Vanadzor, north of Armenia, near Georgia. We located here. EREOstyle social enterprise is a legislation. We registered 2019, but the idea we have earlier than this one. And I want to talk short about that story, how we decided to create this social enterprise. 2013, we have a lot of seminars by organizing British concept, like you in Georgia. Yes, here also we have that organization. The first time we talk about social enterprise by supporting them. And then we have a small research. According to that research, when we ask people with disabilities, what kind of project do you need? They most mention it job. We want job. And for independent life, we decided to create social enterprise and provide them job. So the main products we create, we have a main product and extra products. Main products, after this presentation, I will show some products with me. Armenian traditional dolls, wooden earrings, magnets, sublimation printing, etc., etc. Extra products, we also can do embroidery. We have an embroidery machine. We can do embroidery in different kind of fabric. The extra products. You can here see some pictures from exhibition. We also have a small shop inside of our office, so people can come here and buy our products here, to know us, to hear about us, and also we organize some exhibition, and also we participate in different exhibitions. So why we have this? The purpose of establishing a social enterprise, we have some reasons. You can see, for example, provide job for people with disabilities. According to my opinion, you don't have a person with disabilities as a worker, but maybe you are social enterprise and you can get profit to put for the protection rights of people with disabilities. So if you are social enterprise, it doesn't matter that you have to have a worker, people with disabilities. This is my personal opinion, yes? So, but in our socialist enterprise, we have workers, 5 workers. They are people, different type of people with disabilities, and most of profit we put on the projects which we implement by our organization. To provide temporary job for the villagers by buying tea herbs from them. Why we mentioning this? We talk about social enterprise and we say social enterprise should be creative, because this is business. You should sell your products. You should sell your products not that because they made by people with disabilities. No, because this is creative, this is high, this has high quality, etc., etc. So we have a dolls. I don't know, by sharing my screen, can you see me too? With my hands, I keep Armenian traditional dolls from fabric. In Armenian market, you can find a lot of dolls. So we start to think what kind of creative to create. And we decided that our dolls inside clothes, you can find bag. Inside bag, you can find Armenian tea herbs and drink tea. Men keep the tea bag to the bag.
Nice like commercial, thank you, Anush.
Yes, it's smelling so tasty. Sometimes I am saying funny that if our work will not go so good, selling is not real good, we will put there drugs. And buying content, you will become happy and support our social enterprise. This is okay. So
off topic.
Yes, and this tea we buy from villagers, from Lori region villages, and give them temporary job. So why we solve a community problem? Yes, our mission is to help our community. Social enterprise, I like to say, this is amazing harmonic hybrid between business and maybe NGO or some organization. Yes, together you should have a business thinking and social thinking. This is amazing hybrid. And you should think not only about your money, personal money, you should solve and think about community problems. Also increase community visibility and awareness. So our NGO, social enterprise located in Vanadzor city. Many tourists can come to our social enterprise to see us. The same time they can see our city and bring here money. So according or by supporting our social enterprise, we can make a big visibility of our city too, and many people can come here as a tourist. Create social value, of course, to create job, and also how Natali mentioned it. Yes, here also like challenges that we don't have tools to measure our impact. This is important, but unfortunately we don't, maybe I didn't do that in reality, I will be honest, measure, but it's important so much. So I want to discuss with you about 3 important points. The first, in Armenia, we have Association of Social Enterprise. 2015, 18 NGOs. By supporting British Council, we got together, and we established social enterprise. They are all NGOs, and some of them has a social enterprise. By creation of this social association, we help each other. We share topics with each other. For example, our social enterprise need business skills. I know members can provide me business skills without money because I am a member of this association, and this is so helpful. Of course, in Armenia also we don't have a law about social enterprise. We have a concept, but this is concept like draft concept. We don't have as a law, and this is challenge. This is not good because every organization can say I am a social enterprise. And you can't say, no, you are not, I am a social enterprise. Maybe somebody will say, me, Anush, no, yours not social enterprise. Maybe some charity organization can say we are a social enterprise, and will be conflict. That's why we are fighting or advocate to have a law. Law is so important. But I can say definition of in Armenia, yes, what kind of definition we have. So about definition, in generally in all words we have a different definition about social enterprise. In Armenia, definition social entrepreneurship is an activity whose business model is based on problem solving and creation of social values, by which most of its profit services the implementation of social reforms and addressing social issues. So we must to solve social issues and create social impact. And also, I am so happy that in our schools, they are thinking about social enterprise. Even our university, they invite us, they want to create special room where they should provide business skills, at the same time social enterprise skills. And I'm so happy that they invite and we should provide that knowledge to them. So this is our team. And I want to say you about Slovenian experience, which I had when I went to Slovenia. They are they have a law about social enterprise. And Erasmus has some project called Erasmus for young people, for young entrepreneurs. So you can apply, you can connect with this. I will share with you my presentation. You can enter, register to find your coordinator in your country and to apply and to choose some country where you want to go and have an experience since 1 month until 6 months. I took 1 month because I'm so busy. I couldn't stay abroad long time, but it was amazing experience. And I'm so lucky that my host entrepreneur was social enterprise, and I got a lot of knowledges. And together we are going to, in Slovenia, open a social enterprise academy. In Armenia, we have that academy from 2018, and I created a connection between Slovenia and Armenia. So if you want to come Armenia by this project, please connect with Jinishan Memorial Foundation. Here, all links, you can enter and come, even come to our social enterprise. I will ready to be as a host entrepreneur.
Very nice invitation. Thank you for this information. Very useful for the beginner social enterprises to have kind of internship.
And great, even if you don't have a business, but only idea, you can come. Don't worry. If you have a even idea, business idea, you can apply for this program. So this is one example of in Slovenia when they use reuse system. Yes, they get from community, from people, old things, and by making more good, they sell this maybe €1, €2 more cheaper. Yes, and this is good. And here workers are like people who like to drink alcohol, who has psychological problems. And I met with them and talked with them, and this is good impact because they start to change their thinking, they start to think about job, about social value, etc. So thank you. If you have some question, and also some magnets by drawing by hand without printing.
Nice, beautiful. Thank you so much, Anush, for the interesting presentation and the recommendations. If you have questions, guys, please write to our. Please, Nona.
Hello, Anush. Great presentation. Thank you. I have a question about your products. I guess you have a variety of products. One of them you showed us. You also have magnets and other things, I guess.
This is, yes, different. And
yeah.
all painting by hand.
Hand paintings, right?
Yes, hand paint, yes, yes.
And I'm interested how you are selling it. Which are your selling channels, like online or tourist places, or do you export, or what? Where are you selling, and what is your plans? How you want to grow?
Thank you, dear Nona. Good, amazing question. Yes, more maybe important part of sustainability of social enterprise. Yes, selling process is so difficult. We have a different variants. One variant, which I say from NGO, because this is NGO for people with disabilities. We implement many projects. Here can come different people from different countries, and they can, to see now in my bag, you can see shelves, special made, and they are put all our products. So they can buy from here. Also, we use social networks like Facebook and Instagram. They are also can work and help you for selling, yes. And also we have some partner shops where we say to put in their shops some of our products. Maybe that's 3, and also exhibitions. In Armenia, maybe before COVID, we have a lot of exhibitions. Now the world is not quite now, unfortunately, no. But in the exhibition, also a lot of people like this. More they buy a lot of. And in our life, we have one experience. We send some of our products to USA. This is unique example. Why unique? Because transparent, it's more expensive than our products. But that customers save us. It doesn't matter. Please send us by post, and we send it. Yeah, like this.
Thanks.
Great.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And only one again happy story about our dolls, because I have a lot of stories about them. Because girls to swim, it's more easy than men. Why? Because you should create legs, and men price different than women price. And they say, no, this is discrimination. Why men should be expensive? Women, no. And we say, okay, the same price, because I tired to every time you say,
yeah, increase the women price too. Thank you very much, Anush. And Nona, maybe we can give you the place now. And here's
Natali.
Yes.
Sorry, maybe just to say, there is a question in the Q&A. I don't know if you've seen that from an anonymous attendee from 15 minutes ago. And the question is, I think it's mostly to you, but of course the other panelists can have intervened. The question is, which internationally acknowledged, accepted labels or similar exist for a local, for example, for a local microfinancial institution, which takes elements of social enterprise into account in their company strategy and mission. So I don't know if that's clear. If I would also like to invite the person who asked the question, if he or she is still with us, to raise their hands, and then I can allow you to talk. Oh, sure. So I think it's from Eric. You should be able to.
Hi, thanks.
Hi.
From Eric, I'm the country director of DSIK. It's the German Savings Bank Foundation in Armenia. And we are here since 2013, and we're working quite a lot on, well, financial literacy and consumer protection. And now we entered the field of access to finance for the underserved, for usually agricultural population and persons which have difficulties obtaining proper financing schemes. We are working and cooperating with one financial institution, a credit institution, which already is steps ahead of, I would say, the typical competition in the country, but probably also in the region, which does a lot in the field of social and also environmental topics. And they just, they don't know how to sell it. They don't know how, they never thought it's important to actually brand this or market it. And we will continue working with them in the future. And that's why I was asking if there's any kind of internationally accepted label or some badge that you could receive, which proves that your institution in this case, because earlier today we also spoke about financial institutions, is accepted as one that takes into account XYZ in the field of environment and social topics.
Sorry, Eric, I want to clarify the question. Are you asking about the kind of financing organization who is also funding the social enterprises? Like, for example, Grameen Bank is one of the examples who started actually this kind of funding for social enterprises, this Muhammad Yunus.
Yes, might go in a similar direction.
Microfinance is the field.
It's a microfinance institution in Armenia, and they incorporate a lot of social and environmental aspects. And how can I say? Let's leave it with aspects in their mission, in their strategy, which means, for example, having a minimum of 50% of female specialists in high-ranking positions. This is just one example. But also regarding their clients, they have offered in the past beneficiary trainings on their own budget. And I just wanted to know, out of pure interest, is there anything, any internationally accepted, something that such a company could show or display undisclosed on their website, for example?
So you want to display your organization in this international platform, if it exists, yeah? I don't know about the platform. I have never heard of that, but there are different kind of conferences every year. Also the Yunus Foundation, Ashoka Foundation, they are organizing different international conferences. You can maybe participate in those. I can share some info what I have through email, but I don't know if there is any, I have never heard of any platform that unites all the international organizations.
Okay. I mean, what I had in my mind is if you follow certain defined standards. For example, I have nothing in my mind now, but fair trade. So you get a fair trade label if you fulfill quite a strict set of requirements over X amount of time, and then you can use this, of course, as a branding tool, because you can proudly say, I fulfill all those criteria. I am certified by Fairtrade. And I wanted to ask if there anything like this in the field of social enterprises.
Got the question now. Unfortunately, I don't know. As far as I know, it's not. And even as I told, like even the label of social enterprise, even the recognition as a social enterprise is not possible in our country. So unfortunately, no.
Right,
maybe maybe other people have heard something, maybe at least on a smaller scale. Yeah, we have to create it, Eric. Actually, that is one of my future ideas, kind of related. Thank
Okay,
you.
well, anyway, thank you, Natali.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, Nona, let's continue with your presentation and your success story from Georgia.
Okay. Hello, everyone, again. I'm really excited to be joining you today, and also very happy to have this opportunity to share with you my startup story. I will share my presentation. Okay. Now let's start. So my name is Nona Noniashvili. I'm one of the co-founders and CPO of Champy, innovative apple chips industry startup. I'll start by a short overview of general situation about social entrepreneurship in Georgia. Nowadays, there is approximately 100 social enterprises in the country, but there is no law regulating social enterprises, as Natali already said. I think that nowadays this concept is not yet very popular, but eventually is being developed and gaining popularity through supporting various EU projects. I also think that the awareness of the social enterprises is growing in population, and also empathy from the consumer's perspective, as they prefer socially responsible enterprise products than others. I have seen it in exhibitions and also in other places where these social enterprises are gathering. Champy is, of course, one of greenest social enterprises in Georgia. It's innovative healthy snacks brand and pioneer in apple chips industry, supporting healthy lifestyle to become more enjoyable and fun. Our startup journey started at the agricultural university, where I met my two friends. Me and Chuck were studying food science, while Tamara was studying business administration. And all three of us were really enthusiastic and passionate to start our own business. On one lecture, we learned about this really interesting drying technology and were so fascinated by it that we actually started experimenting. After several tries, we've developed our own method of drying fruits, elaborated regimes, constructed first dryer prototype, and as a result, we took apple chips, which had much greater flavor, were crunchier, and really enjoyable to eat. After this, we participated in several local and international business competitions and won almost majority of them. Through these resources, we managed to build factory in agriculturally rich Gori region, village Titsi. This village is located near occupied borders of our country. We took social responsibility to empower local women by providing employment and development opportunities. And this was all possible, of course, by supporting different organizations. For example, CENN grants was a great support for us. Through these grants, we managed to grow our social impact because we grew women number in our factory. Nowadays we have 10 women employees, and this number is ever growing because we aim to to bring aliveness in this village where there is very poor social and economic situation, and we aim to make a great impact on this region. And this is how we started producing and ended up with these three snacks, original varieties of Idarit, Golden Delicious, and Granny Smith apple chips. Through intense working on the idea, product testing, and experimenting, we've discovered the potential of apple slice to be the best base for healthy chips. We then decided to continue the apple chips line and pioneered an entirely new process that infuses apple slice with all natural fruit juices. Based on this technology, the remarkable textures and flavors have been achieved. Together with three originals, we added 9 fruit and veggie taste apple chips. And this is what we call apple chips industry, totally new approach and concept, well matched with modern consumers' demand and preferences. And also the great thing is that this year we added one of our strategic directions. Also in support with the CENN grant program, we started waste-free production out of the apple waste that we have in our production, and we started producing crunchy fruit leather snack called smatsi. We started collaboration with Georgian famous giraffe, animated hero giraffe Jose, and created small packs for kids for them to have this opportunity to, and also stimulation to eat healthy chips, not that regular chips which are not very healthy. This is our goal in this line. So ever since the receiving first prototype, we've been actively communicating with our potential customers. This showed us that people actually enjoyed eating our snacks, demanded more varieties and easy access through different selling channels. This is when we decided to spread the product, and nowadays in Georgia, Champy apple chips is sold in all leading retail markets in Tbilisi, also in rooms, hotel, minibars, cafes, cinemas, and online channels. Overall, there is great market opportunity as there is ever increasing demand on healthy snacks. It's estimated that it will reach more than 100 billion USD in 2025, and biggest share in this market has Europe and US, which are our key target regions. Our greatest achievement up to now, I would say, is that we already accessed US market and started exporting 3 original varieties. Product has gained popularity in a short period of time. It's about 2 years that we have started exporting, and already won some important awards like Delicious Living and Mindful Awards. And also nowadays, it's in US, it's being sold in 82 healthy and bio markets, also via Amazon. And our partner in the US is negotiating with larger formats like Kroger, which is one of the key, leading retailers, and our key target, as it is called, like new king of healthy food. So we want to grow in US, and our our goal is to increase export share. Unlike any other fruit chips producing companies on global scale, we use totally different and innovative technology of production, which ensures that final product is special with ultra thin slice, extra crunchy texture, and distinctly natural taste, which is our key competitive advantage. And this is not only our opinion, even US market retailers point out that our chips is really different compared to analogs of the market. And finally, I would like to introduce my team, which consists of me, Tamari, and Shako. We met each other, as I have told you, at the university, and we are together from the second course of studying. Through these years, we overcome many obstacles, which gave us enormous practical experience and opportunity to create a strong team. We are totally committed, improving on a daily basis, because we have this clear common vision that we want to create global, innovative, and special apple chips industry company. Thank you very much. This is our contact information. If you have any questions or anything you would like to share with us, please contact us. You can also find us on social media. This is our Facebook page. And yes, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Nona. And I'm really glad to hear about the great news. I didn't know about the US increased demand. Congratulations about the growth.
Yes, thanks.
I have a question. May I ask? First of all, thank you very much, Nona, and thank you very much to Armenian partners. It was really amazing, like stories, which every time when I hear some stories like this, it make me more like to work on my aims, because I also start to believe that I can also do something in my country. So I have 2 questions to you, Nona. The first is, this is a green entrepreneurship or social entrepreneurship? I missed that part, I think.
Okay, now it's basically social enterprise, but we have also green
components.
aspect because this year, as I mentioned, we started waste-free production. So all the wastes that we have in production, like apple cores and upper and bottom parts of apple, we use, blend it, and dry it, and we take and dry it with our unique technology, which ensures that this new product is also crunchy and snack type.
Oh, that's great. So thank you. Do you think about packaging, how to make the packaging more environmental friendly, or your packaging is recycled or something like this?
Okay. Nowadays, this bags is not yet recycled, but we are, this kind of product, which is supposed to be exported and have this big shelf life, it cannot be put in like crafts. It will not have shelf life in this case. But we are working in different like packaging companies to have like best package in future, and we are working in this direction because there are some options. We have some options which are more pricey, and we are not yet able to use these packing materials. But eventually, when we grow, we will, of course, have recycling packing materials.
Yeah, because I also face this problem in my initiative, in my business. So therefore, I was like, I asked this question. And the second question is about the food certification. Do you have any kind of state policy on regulation of such kind of initiatives that you have?
Yes. So in Georgia, you need like local certificates, what local government needs, you need to have for local government. And we took these certificates locally because we have several food laboratories which are eligible for these certificates. And also we have different labeling. We have a food agency who says that you should be labeled like this, like we should not use words like 100 natural or some vitamins or etc. And we use this their recommendations, and our packing label is different locally. But as for US, our local laboratory analysis was not enough. We took certificates from EREOstyle labs, where we made all the possible laboratory tests, because in the US package, we have this like statements like good source of fiber, no gluten-free, oil-free, and everything is like approved by this EREOstyle lab certificates. And this is not enough. We made like big research of FDA regulations, because like daily norm of this product and everything that you put on the label should be like aligned with these regulations, FDA regulations. So it was really difficult process, and it took about 1 year. But yes, it's possible. But in this case, you should know the country's regulation. For example, in our case, we knew US regulation of these foods, this kind of food, and we took laboratory analysis in international labs.
I think. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your questions. I think there is
one question.
Yes, I see. So Victoria Novak has a question to me. Dear Nona, thanks a lot for sharing your experience. Tell me, please, did you need a special certificate when exporting? Do you do outsourcing of services, or everything is in-house? Okay, now let's start with exporting. In the case of US, our partner had experience of importing Georgian food in US. So our partner had already had the certificates of importing. So it was a bit easy for us to become second partners for our partner. And as I have told Gunay, we we had special certificates like food certificates for our products to ensure that everything that we put on label was aligned with the regulation, FDA regulation. And as for outsourcing, yes, we use outsource services in case of accounting and financial services. We have outsource company, Nexia TA. And also we have marketing outsource in terms of branding and marketing strategy and activities. But we are fully involved in these processes, of course, depending on our management skills.
Thank you, Nona. Nino has the question, I guess.
Thank you, Natali. Nona, thank you for a very impressive presentation. I have just a quick question. Last year, your company was presented on the Rural Festival that was organized by our partner in Armenia, Green Lane, and you have great success there. A lot of products were kind of sold, and as I remember, you have some plans to export your products in Armenia, and I'm just wondering if there's any progress in this direction.
I think Nona's internet is
could
stuck.
not, yeah. Unfortunately, I could not hear your last words.
As I remember, you have some plans to start exporting your product in Armenia, and if there is any kind of progress in this direction, it's always kind of interesting to follow up such kind of initiatives that you support to kind of develop and just to...
Yes. Yes, Tamari was at the Rural Festival last year, and this year we are both going in a few days, and we are very excited. And unfortunately, we have not yet started this export direction development because they have not contacted us, and we had so many things to do in terms of projects and US export, and etc.
Yeah, I guess US market is a little bigger to prioritize.
Yeah,
absolutely. This year, as we really want to start export negotiations with Armenian market, we thought that priorly we will check some interesting companies for ourselves, like markets, the supermarket chains, online channels in Armenia. And before we go to this rural festival, we will have this contact. And if we will have time, we will directly go to them and start negotiations. This will be more useful, I think.
Great. That's good year. That you will have kind of another opportunity this year, and will be a possibility to explore this opportunity in more deeper. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your grant projects, which grows a lot.
Nona, there is another question for you. Hi, okay. Nona, I have another question / certification. Are you selling on Amazon, or I misunderstood something? If yes, please tell us how difficult it was to cooperate with Amazon. Thank you. Anna is the questioner.
Thank you, Anna. Yes, our product is sold via Amazon, but from our US partner. So our negotiation is like this. We are selling with EXW price from our warehouse to our partner. And after this, she's handling everything like transportation costs, distribution costs, then selling and everything. And this Amazon and entering markets and negotiations is done by her. We were not involved in this process because our primary direction is producing high quality and innovative chips, and it takes all our resources. So it's her responsibility to do like sales and distribution, and our responsibility is to supply her. And also, as far as I know, she already had entered Amazon with the previous product that she was importing from Georgia, so it was easy for her to add our chips in her catalog.
Then she is asking, is it a private person or a company?
Is she a private person or a company? She has company.
Okay, maybe you can share the contacts with her. I guess she needs for something.
Okay, maybe she can, Anna, maybe you can like contact me directly on our email. If you want to, I will share with you my email.
Okay. We can share our contact details in the chat to everybody, all the panelists, whoever wants to share their contact details.
I will share.
Okay, thank you very much, Nona. Let's move on to Gunay for now. And if you have more questions, guys, just write in the Q&A panel and we will answer at the end. So thank you, Gunay, for waiting. And please, let's start with your presentation.
Yeah. Just a minute. So do you see?
Yes.
Do you see my word, my word file or presentation?
Your presentation.
That's great.
You can make full screen, so.
I can't make full screen because
Okay.
otherwise I will miss my file, Word file. I prepared for you, I don't know why, but I prepared for you some, I took some legislative norms and regulations. I was thinking that it will be interesting for participants, but I realized that the same situation, okay. So
everywhere.
the same situation.
Same situation everywhere in our countries,
yes,
right?
Everywhere. I think that generally, like social entrepreneurship, green entrepreneurship is a new phenomenon for all countries. I mean, and for post-Soviet countries, yes, this is a very, very new phenomenon. So okay. So let's start. My name is Gunay. I'm from a very tiny town called Lankaran. Originally, I am Talish. This is an ethnic minority living in the southeast part of Azerbaijan. And I will tell you later my ethnic background. After 2 years of master degree, sorry, just I will move to, So after 2 years of my master degree abroad in the tourism development and culture, I moved back to Azerbaijan in 2020. And during these last 2 years, I was involved in different development program aiming at improving the socioeconomic conditions of the region of Azerbaijan. And while working in these programs, in these projects, I also got to know the local culture, and which made me love my job even more. This helped me to better understand actually the cultural heritage, as well as appreciate the colorfulness that we have in Azerbaijan. In generally, Caucasus is very colorful from the cultural diversity point. And I decided to establish initiative which, in parallel with the increase of income, could also preserve or develop cultural heritage assets. And this is about the Lene.co. I will tell you later about this. Now I want to move to the most boring part of my presentation. This is the situation of Azerbaijan, social entrepreneurship in Azerbaijan. Of course, I will also focus on best practices about myself and my initiatives, and my recommendations. So let's move on to legal basis, legislative framework, and laws and regulations. So this is also a new phenomenon for us. So yeah, and while having conversation, like a preparation period for this webinar, I got a chance to have a conversation with some founders of some social enterprises. They mentioned that their activities actually taking valuable action in achieving sustainable development goals, as it involves activities aimed at finding effective, innovative, and sustainable solutions to social and environmental problems, which it really made me very happy that people are working continuously on issues that really somehow ruining or somehow like destroying nature, at the same time impact our lives negatively. So, and this is also, I would like to mention that I will mention some initiatives that really took the role of linking between various sectors of economy, like involving them in solving social significant issues. And the social entrepreneurship generally is quite flexible. And in our case, it quickly responded to changes in market conditions, even under the COVID-19. So actually, social enterprises, as Natali already mentioned, this is offer new ways of doing business that I will tell you like later, is that what I am doing and why for me, my initiative, this is kind of my baby is unique actually. So I equally prioritize profit making. So profit making for me is not the second priority. This is the first priority, because I realize that, you know, sometimes we neglect the of our position of being, for instance, more privileged than people from regions, actually, because I'm working in development program in regions of Azerbaijan, and I realized that not here, Gunay, your conditions in Baku, I'm living currently in Baku, even though I'm from Lankaran, is totally different. You have totally different privilege, I mean, lifestyle, living style than the young generation living in Lankaran in mountains area. So yes, therefore, for them, when I'm talking about, you know, I obtained my master's degree in University of Glasgow, and I moved to Sweden, and I was working for tourism and culture development, cultural heritage for people. This sounds very interesting, very seductive, but this is nothing. Then for them, this is like a fairy tale or like a story, because they don't believe, because they don't have a economic independence, especially women who are subjected to oppression and exploitation in working in exploitative working force. So you know, for them, this is, you know, very good, beautiful sentence, nothing more. You know, so therefore, for me, this is equal prioritized profit making as well as social environmental goals. Those become agents of, I think, of change that promote social values, and the most, this is inclusive development. So, yeah, current situation. Let's go back to the boring part. So, current situation of social entrepreneurship is right. So, as we already realized that actually this is not a new phenomenon for Azerbaijan, for Armenia, for Georgia, and initiatives in this field been increased several years, but you know, still it's not sufficient number, you know. But since there is no separate legislative act on social entrepreneurship, it is really difficult to evaluate initiative. Is this initiative social entrepreneurship, or this is like a funded just to grab some grants from international sponsors and organizations? So there is no like any, you know, the mechanism. It's true that there are certain provisions regarding social enterprises in Azerbaijan legislation, but I'm afraid those provisions are not capable of fully, I don't want to explain, like fully regulating social entrepreneurship relations generally. So we have two acts, actually, two laws. I mean, unemployment laws, Article 1.1.20, sorry, of the law. It is specialized legal entity created to ensure the employment of persons. I want to be carefully to listen this. So for Azerbaijan Legislation Foundation, the employment of persons who are in special needs of social protection, who are has difficulties to finding job. So there's for people, for instance, including disabled children under the age of 18, young people under the age of 20, single parents. These kind of, you know, vulnerable groups are like prioritized in a legislation. And another legislative act, this is a decision of Cabinet of Minister of Republic of Azerbaijan about approval of standards of social enterprises and workplace in addition to the quota. So this is also determined the same, like almost like state in their policy highlight support of hiring employees to the state or state funding budget, state budget funded organizations. This vulnerable group, like disabled people who are affected by war, IDPs, and all this stuff. But we know that, but this is not a social enterprise or social entrepreneurship position that a state actually takes. So it can be the legislation consider the concept of social enterprise only in the context of employment, but we all working in our initiatives in organizations. We have faced with some, we are aware about the concept of social entrepreneurship in other countries, but we know that this is not about only employment. This is also the creation, some business model, some profitable model for people. And on another hand, there's also need for accurate regulation of relations in the field of social entrepreneurship, formation of necessary legal framework for people like me who are really struggling with some legislative issues. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I'm doing it. I was like sleeping at night and saying maybe I will get tax of $1,000 because I'm selling products and I don't pay tax because people like working in a handcraft, like a craftsman, are exempt from tax actually. So this is really like a very interesting, position here, like we have, I think, in South Caucasus and in general in other countries as well. So the challenges and opportunities, my opportunity and my challenges like this, like there's no clear legal regulations, which is very important. And yes, we have some, concessions for various types of taxes, but social entrepreneurship, no. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some people who working in social entrepreneurship, like for some years. I am new in this, let's say, in this industry, so maybe people like facing, like resolving problems differently, but in my case, I have no idea. And we don't have associations kind of where we can support each other, where we can kind of, to deal with some regulations and legislative regulations. But the good thing is the most like happy side of this all mess is we have still in Azerbaijan, there's a really very brilliant young generations that are working in creation of social enterprises, especially in green enterprises. I mentioned here Eduha, Buta Art and Sweet, Woman Tour Coffee Shop, Green Baku, and you can see all these initiatives. Unfortunately, I forgot to put some links to them, but I don't know whether we will send to all participants the presentation. If you need for future collaboration, just hit me up. I will give you some contacts. And of course, we have a state initiative, which is really very important also, because like, for instance, this is also initiative created by state where this state body also motivate, also encourage people with disabled and other from vulnerable group to come and to be their employee, let's say. So this is about the best practice. I will I want to move to my initiative. So yes, my initiative. We called Lena.co. This is actually the missions of my initiative is the preservation of cultural heritage of the Talish people. This is weaving. This is special weaving technique. We weave from reed or cane. I don't know how it will be in English. Reed or cane. I always put these two words in the same sentence so that people know that what this is about. Yeah, this is not only belong to us, I mean to Talish people. You may also see this in Thailand, in Philippines, in other part of in Latin America. But so I don't believe that one heritage only belong to one culture. So yes, so we are all somehow from different parts of the world somehow share the same culture heritage. So The first, this is a wheat-based products, which is really was popular during Soviet period in Astara economic region. So in order to somehow preserve this culture, but unfortunately we had the plastic bags and paraffin bags replaced the traditional and eco-friendly products in market. So it really dropped very fastly during this last 30 years. I will mention it later. So mission, our initiatives that I found in 2021 is firstly preserve cultural heritage. The second, boost socio-economic condition of women community. Only women working in this type of craft, we call it folk handicraft. So, and at the same time to promote and to bring back that glory of traditional eco-friendly products. So this is our mission, kind of. So about the story. So actually you may also see our working progress, and this is the way how a woman weaving lane. So sorry. So actually, the short story. I forgot also to say why I started from developing these specialties, namely this cultural heritage, because I already mentioned about my ethnic backgrounds, and since ancient time we used reed cane in our household. It is says that one of the meaning of the Kenkadze, this is a tiny town. City in Azerbaijan, in the southern part, means houses with reed roofs. So gradually the product made from reed became the basket, can be bread plate, various decorative items, became the cultural heritage of one ethnic groups, right? So however, after the collapse of Soviet Union, I already mentioned the paraffin and the plastic has replaced the market, and we totally, lost that touch with our heritage. So moreover, over the past 30 years, so during the last 30 years, these products have been valued by merchants far below their value. And only women with cane or reed baskets, they are forced to work under exploitative conditions that really hurts me, and therefore I wanted to make something to bring some changes, because I realized that this is not acceptable actually. Therefore, the NGO community was created in Lankaran, and all products were evaluated using the fair price approach. Fair price approach, this is also very essential in social entrepreneurship concept. For us, the fair price is we sum up all expenses like transport, promo materials, and raw material. At the same time, we also take in consideration the time. So during what time of period, like a duration of preparing any kind of, we sum up everything kind of, and all together. All of us are 15 weaving women members and 5 marketing, let's say small department. So yes, and we are all together decide the price of every items. This is very important for me, because I don't want. So I received the grant from USAID and Black Sea Trust for regional corporation. And I don't want to be called like a person who are I don't want to misuse actually the concept of social entrepreneurship. Therefore, I am fully transparent, fully open to my community. I don't want them to consider me as a boss. I am founder. This is a fact, but I don't kind of make profit more than our community member.
I'm sorry, Gunay. This is kind of example demonstration of democratic decision making process inside the organization.
Yes,
I want to remind you, we have 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, but I don't see so. Okay, anyway, so I'll talk about the story, and yes, I believe that I could during this 1 year, we could somehow raise awareness about the preservation of cultural heritage, as well as like boosting our income, because our members, women members, are now so happy. We are not going to stop in this stage. We are going to also to export to another countries, but for now we are only working in domestically. So, and yes, and some recommendation, which for me, I think mentioned about recommendation, but anyways, like foundation for a normative legal framework should be formed in all countries, in Armenia, Georgia, and Azerbaijan, in Eastern Partnership countries. So states should also work in while providing some benefits, including tax benefits to us. So the third is creating more favorable opportunities for us to participate in procurement, in state procurement, in public procurement. The final, which is really important, that still there's some people don't understand the concept of social entrepreneurship, and they're misleading this concept into their own interest, which I really hate. And then the final, inclusive of goals and appropriate measures for development of enterprises in state programs, because this is very important when private sector and state sector, as well as the civil society, are all working together somehow to develop this concept. I covered everything that I wanted to tell. Thank you very much. In case you have any kind of questions, I am really open. I am open also for collaborations and cooperations. Because I recently got one project offer from Zugdidi. There's also one. Yes, there's one initiative they're working also with women, and there's a handicraft shop. So I'm very happy. Anyways, if you have questions, I would be very happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Gunay. A really beautiful product. I guess you can also consult with Nona how to sell them on Amazon.
Yeah, I think because it really sounds amazing. I mean, selling on Amazon.
And we have a question from Anna. How many social enterprises are in Azerbaijan?
Well, I can't say name how many, but they're quite like increasing year by year, But I mean, more than 20 or 30, it's definitely like this.
Yeah, as I remember from the previous presentations from the Azerbaijani participants, it's around 100, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I know only 30 or 35, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of that I really don't know.
Yeah, and also, as we already told at the beginning, it's really difficult to track and identify what is social enterprise, to count them. So usually the Social Enterprise Alliance, they try to gather all this information and invite the social enterprises as a members, so they have more specific information, more numbers.
So yeah.
You're welcome, Anna. I want also to underline one important thing you mentioned, Gunay, from your practical experience. You said that at the beginning, you said that you want to prioritize profit making in your work. That is like one of the key messages I always like to give to the future social entrepreneurs, as most of us are coming from the nonprofit field. We have kind of awkward relationship with profit, awkward relationship with money. Like it's also a cultural thing, of course, but not only. Coming from the social sector, you want to do more impact, you want to reinvest always, and you want to do good, but at the same time, we don't have usually social entrepreneurs don't have the business education that does not help the profit making, and also the attitude is very they don't feel like speaking about money, they don't feel like pushing more profit. But that is like the key. If we don't earn profit, if we don't earn money, we can't exist, we can't continue operations. So this, if some of our attendees are going, or are the social entrepreneurs are going to be, please keep in mind that we have to make a profit. Like, don't feel bad about it. How we reinvest it, how we use this profit, that is of course the important aspect, and that is regulated usually, or should be regulated by the law. But if you become the social enterprise, I don't think that in most of the cases, at least from my experience, I have never met bad use of the term, of the concept of social enterprise. Opposite, like everybody's reinvesting everything in the social impact, and they don't have the long-term plan strategy for the economical, financial survival. So think profits.
Yes, why I'm saying like misusing, because sometimes you see that this is a social, it's like the person like giving a definition like is on or her initiative, this is a social entrepreneurship, and you, when you want to ask about the how do you define the product's price, how do you I mean this money to your initiatives, how do you like allocate the money, and all of a sudden you realize that this is not a social entrepreneurship, this is like a real very capitalistic, very capitalistic. So I'm coming from, I'm more like a social and leftist, maybe, I don't know. Maybe just therefore like ideology also impact and influence on my activities, and but yes, and you see that no, this is not a social entrepreneurship. You are doing in a good way of this is an exploitative actually working place, but in a very good manner, in a good way of like using some very fancy words. So yes, therefore I'm saying that no, I don't, and maybe I have some, maybe not, I'm pretty sure that I have some things to work on, I have some challenges, this is a new thing for me also, but I don't lie to my community members.
Yeah, fortunately, I have met less that kind of examples, but that is the reason why we need the regulation from the government. We have the comment from Kayala. We don't have special statistics on social enterprises, probably from Azerbaijan, but at the moment there is a discussion on identification of social enterprises with many stakeholders in Azerbaijan. So yeah, she agrees with you that we don't have the specific number. So if we don't have more questions, guys, let's close our webinar. We're maybe there is. Yeah, they are sharing with us the contact information of Azerbaijani Young Entrepreneurs Network. I'll copy this in the chats, public chats, so others can also see.
Thank you very much, Natali, and thank you to all the lovely guest speakers who are presenting their very inspiring stories. I wanted to, and thank you very much to all the attendees who stay. I see Nona still wants to say something. Nona, please go ahead.
Sorry, I just touched the button. I had no question.
Okay. No problem. I thought you had another comment. I wanted to let everyone know that this is part of a series. The webinar is part of a series on civil society and the Green Deal. The next webinar will take place on the 2nd of November, and it will be about the fundamentals of the EU's Green Deal and how CSOs can engage. And on the 16th of November, we will have a webinar on the Green Office and behavior-centered interventions. So I think some of those who are with us today will find those two webinars very interesting as well. So please do register for those. You will also receive from us a feedback form for the webinar. We would really appreciate it if you could let us know how you feel about the webinar today and whether you thought it was useful for you. And with that, I wanted to thank everyone once again and wish you a very good afternoon, evening, depending where you are, and do follow us for more opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Monica.